I tell you, these are Jesus' words, Matthew 12:36. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every idle word they speak. I tell you, Jesus says, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every idle word that they speak. This word idle means unproductive, and it means shunning the labor that one should perform. So if you think of our words are supposed to achieve something. The words that come out of our mouths are always supposed to achieve something. And they're always supposed to achieve something edifying. To edify means to build up. The words that come out of our mouth are supposed to build us up. Not tear us down, but build us up. And the words that come out of our mouths are supposed to build others up. Not tear others down, but build others up. That's the work they're supposed to do. So an idle word would be a word that instead of building up, instead of doing that, it's destructive, it tears down. And as typically with God's word, it's very searching. It's like a searchlight on our soul that exposes the bits that need sorting out, cleaning up, changing. Now, so it's a challenging statement here of Jesus, that on the day of judgment, people will give a reckoning, you could say an explanation, for every idle word that they've spoken, every unproductive word. Now, that raises maybe some questions for you of what the day of judgment will be like, but we're not going to dive into that deeply at this moment. What I want to focus on is simply that we want to be speaking words that are not idle, words, in other words, that are productive. We want to be productive people. And in order to speak words that are productive, we need to be cultivating a heart attitude that's productive. We need to be building that productivity into our lives. So let's look at the next verse, which is Proverbs 14, verse 4. Without oxen, a stall is clean, and great is the increase by the power of the ox. Without oxen, a stall is clean, and great is the increase by the power of the ox. So think of a farm with a stable in it. If there's no oxen, if there's no cattle, then that stall is going to be lovely and clean. In fact, probably sparkling. No animals there. But if you have oxen, if you have cattle, the stall will be messy, but things are getting done. The harvest is going to increase because of the power of those oxen. There's going to be more grain in the barns. So when we apply that to our lives, we can live a life that's maybe neat and tidy, but very unproductive. Or we can live a productive life which might not look so neat and tidy, but where there's great fruit from that life. Great fruit, not grapefruit. Great fruit from that life. So we want to be people whose words, whose attitudes, whose actions are producing good, are edifying. So I want to make this supremely practical for each one of us today. I want to look at our life in the light of productivity, God's type of productivity, which means that which is going to build up. So if you think of your life, you think of the things that you spend your time thinking about or doing. Are there things that are really distracting you from what could be a productive way of thinking, of speaking, of living? And if so, maybe it's time to strip out some of those distractions. We've recently, as most of you may know, or some of you know, Joy and I have done a big purge of our house. So we've been going through all our stuff and getting rid pretty much of, not of everything, but of everything that we don't need, truly need, or that we don't have a special place in our heart that we really, really want to keep that thing. We've been purging. And it's been a good process because the end result is that our house is more simple. And as a result of that, we've got more headspace. And we can actually focus on the things that are there that we like or need. There's a stronger focus on that So it's an example. We can do that with our everyday life. So there's two things that I think we could take away from this about productivity. Number one, look at if there's any things that you need to strip out of your life that are really just distractions from what could be good, could be productive and good and right. Strip those things out. It might be attitudes, it might be habits, it might be ways of spending time and doing things. That's up to you to decide. But then secondly, and the point of the first part is to get to the second part. Are there ways that you could become more productive? So the things that God has given you to be and to do, that you could put your hand to them even more. Again, I won't give examples here from the front, but I'm sure each of us can probably think of ways that we could spend our time or things that we could do that would bring more edification to ourselves and to others. It's really the goal of it all, to build up. Let's be people whose stalls may not be all that clean, but because there's oxen there working, bringing in that harvest. Yeah, you do have to clean the stall every so often, as every farmhand knows. Important to try and keep it clean. But there's going to be mess around the activity. Some things to think about there on a very practical note. And let's reconvene on that point in a month or two's time and say, okay, how have we become more productive? Yeah, personally. I might even invite people to say, well, I know I've become more productive in this way or that way. But remember, it's all down to edifying. And for those that were here Wednesday night, or if you've listened online, you'll know that I gave everyone homework on Wednesday night, and it was to do with words. And the homework was, can anyone remind me, those that were here?
Making our words edifying.
Making our words edifying. Are the words that we're speaking to ourselves, about ourselves, are they edifying? And are the words that we're speaking to others, are they edifying? That's one element of productivity. But today's homework from this bit is to expand that out into life in general. What should we strip out? What should we build on? Let's become more productive, step by step. So yeah, we'll reconvene on that in a few weeks or a couple of months' time. Productivity.